Hello YouTube and welcome to another EVE Online tutorial. In this video I'm going to teach you about manufacturing in EVE Online, which is the crafting system as you may know it in other MMOs. First thing you need to know about building in EVE Online is that almost every item in EVE Online is player built. That means that any item you see in my hangar around here, except for the ice and the ore, which obviously is mined instead of built. All these things, these containers, these drones, this afterburner right here. Let me see what else I have. Almost all these things are player built or can be player built. Sometimes you get them from a loot drop, from a NPC fight or whatever. But anything you see in here, I could theoretically build myself. To build these things we need a few things. First of all we need minerals, which is the minerals we mined in the previous tutorial video. Then you'll need large quantities of them. Don't think, well, I need just 2 or 3 of this one and few of Zedrine and 10 pyrite. No, you'll actually need thousands, sometimes millions or sometimes billions of minerals. The second thing you need is the skills you need for building. So let's go to the basic industry skills. You need industry to access factories, basic operation of factories, and 4% reduction in manufacturing time per skill level. This may not seem like a lot, but if you have a manufacturing job that takes several weeks, or like 2 or 3 weeks maybe, then that 4% times 5 can stack up quite, quickly. The second skill we need is production efficiency, which I think is down here. Production efficiency. Skill at efficiently using factories. 5% reduction per skill level to the material requirements needed for production. This one is absolutely 100% necessary to get to level 5 before you do any kind of production, because this basically reduces the amount of minerals you need to build something, and at level 5 that is a 25% reduction, so that's pretty significant, especially on the larger blueprints. The last skill is optional but very highly recommended. That's mass production. Allows the operation of multiple factories, ability to run 1 additional manufacturing job per level. If you have multiple blueprints or multiple projects that you need to build, like I said, sometimes a job can take several weeks before it's complete, and you don't want to be stuck waiting for that single build job before you can do another one. So it's highly recommended that you get this skill as well, maybe to level 3 or 4. Level 5 is optional, of course. And lastly we have the advanced mass production, which is the second level skill of mass production, and it gives you the ability to run 1 more additional job for a total of 10 if you train both of these skills to level 5. This of course is quite a higher level skill, so it will take longer to complete. I have it at level 3 at the moment, and that gives me the ability to run 8 manufacturing jobs at the same time, and that's for me that's pretty well, it's enough. Lastly, a blueprint can have additional skills that you will need, like for example in capital ships you will need capital construction level 1 or level 1 through 4 I think, and level 5 for Titan. But yeah, you can check all these things by checking the blueprint. If you want to build anything, be it a container or drones or whatever, you need to find the blueprint to build it. And blueprints come in 2 variants. Let's check info. As you can see up at the top here, this is a blueprint copy, which means that it has a limited use, and after you've used all the runs that are available on this copy, the blueprint will disappear and it will be gone forever. Next to the copies you also have blueprint originals, which you can find mostly on the market. I'm gonna see if I can find some in my local market here. Let me see, drones, combat drones, medium scout. Well, here we have Tech 1 blueprints for the medium scout drones. We could, these are NPC seeded, of course. You can build blueprints. You can find them and you can research them, but that's all stuff for another video, because then I'll be getting into all kinds of complex matter that's will just confuse you. So all you need to know is that you can get Tech 1 blueprints from the market. Not everywhere, but for example, Gallente drones, Gallente ships, Gallente equipment will often be for sale in Gallente stations, and Caldari will be available in Caldari stations. It's pretty obvious actually. So the difference between a blueprint copy and a blueprint original is that an original blueprint does not have a limited amount of runs on them, which means that you can use them indefinitely and it will never, you know, be destroyed or lost unless you're stupid enough to, you know, carry it around and get blown up or something. You can use the blueprint indefinitely, forever, as long as you see fit. And on top of that, you can research the blueprint, which is something, like I said, we'll get into that some other time. You can research it and you can copy it, and you can then sell the copies to other people, which can be quite lucrative for the more expensive blueprint originals that, you know, people might not have interest or money to buy. But you can offer a blueprint copy, which you can sell for just a fraction of the price of the original. So that's a lot, you know, it's kind of a marketing thing. You'll have to see for which blueprints that's viable to actually do. Okay, so let's look at the... I have two blueprints here for a little project I'm working on. Let's look at the copy, and let's see what information we can make out of this. First of all, it produces a blueprint. It is a blueprint copy, and it produces this commodity, capital armor plates, ×1. This means, as far as I can remember, that it means every run it does, so that the maximum is 5, you get 1 capital armor plate out of it. Some blueprints will have a higher number behind the producer's line, and that means that for every run you get this number here is produced. For ammunition, that's often like 1000 units or 500 units, depends on the blueprint you have. The material level is the level of material research that the original blueprint has gotten, and the copy is a direct derivative of the original blueprint. So that means that whatever the original blueprint was researched to, the copy will get the same attributes. The material level in this case determines how efficiently you use the minerals that you have to use for it. For example, if this was 0, I would have to use a lot more minerals in the building process. At material level 300, I'm pretty much the most efficiently building it most efficiently as I can, I think. That doesn't say here. Wastage factor ties into that, because the higher the material level, the lower the wastage factor. So if this were 10, this could also be 10%, which would mean that you waste 10% of all the minerals you use to build it. So having this at 0% or as close as you can possibly get to it is always preferred. Then we have, is it a copy? Yes, it's a copy. Productivity level decides the amount of time it takes to build. The higher this number is, the less time it takes to actually build the item per run. Licensed production runs remaining. We can use this blueprint 5 more times before it expires. And the maximum amount of blueprint runs that this kind of blueprint can have, which is also 5. So we have a maximum run blueprint copy. Here you can see the manufacturing time, how much it takes without any productivity level. So this is 100. It would take 3 hours and 33 minutes to make one capital armor plate. But because I have the proper skills and the proper skills, I just do it in 2 hours and 51 minutes. If you were to research the original, then the research time would indicate how long it would need research for the next material level, which is not doesn't apply to blueprint copies because you can't research blueprint copies. In the bill of materials we see what exactly we all need, everything we need to start the building job. First of all, you need a bunch of skills. Not every blueprint needs skills, but the more advanced ones do. So in this case I need capital ship construction level 1 and all the skills that are, prior to that. I have that. You can see by the little check mark that you have the right skill for it, and I have all the skills in place, so that is great. Then we go to the materials. For almost every single Tech 1 blueprint this will always be minerals, so you can see exactly how much minerals you need for each one, for each item. And keep in mind that these figures are numbers needed per run. So if you want to build 5 of these, you need these figures times 5, which I have quite readily, I think. Sometimes it will list some extra materials like I don't know, papers or trade items that you need to acquire to complete the job. But it will tell right here what you need and you can go get it. Just make sure you all have it all in one place before you start. So that's the blueprint. Now we'll have a look at the Science and Industry tab, which you can find in the sidebar here or in the station overview thing here. First we look at jobs. Here you can find any kind of job you actually have or that your alliance has. In this case I can only find my own jobs. You can find and you can filter specifically for manufacturing, material research, time efficiency research, copying, invention or reverse engineering. You can filter by state, pending, in progress, ready or delivered. You can check the range. And if you click on get jobs, you will see the amount of jobs that you currently have. You have some blueprints. If you have, I think this is based on region, I'm not sure, because I'm sure I have a lot more than just these two. No. Well, in this case it just it sees these two and nothing else. This will list all the blueprints you have in a set radius. Installations, this one is important because to build you need to have a factory slot, and not every station comes equipped with them. To find the right kind of factory you can leave it on all activities, and you can see at a glimpse if this station has a... If you set this to current station you can see if this station has manufacturing slots. Well, it has. It also has some invention, copying, material research and time efficiency research. So if we go to manufacturing, we click on this, we can see down here all the slots that are available and the ones that are already taken. So we can take any one of these. It will cost 1000 ISK to install and another small amount of ISK to per hour. This can be influenced slightly by the standing you have with the NPC corporation that owns the station, but it's nothing, that will be a major impact on the cost. So it really doesn't matter. I think this is by default 500 ISK and I got it down to 474. But because I have good standing, so it's not really great. Should you be in a situation where all the slots are taken, you can just take an already occupied slot with the least amount of time left on it, so the 7 hours for example, and you can just put it in the queue. As soon as those 7 hours are up, your job will be installed and will start running automatically. Then we have another tab, which is the planets tab, which is it has to do with planetary interaction, and that's something for another video entirely. And we have some basic settings like input-output settings, defined by blueprint hangar location or defined by user. You can filter for alliance corporation member usage. You can allow by standing range or security range. You can set this to whatever you like, it's a personal preference really. I have it on default because that seems to work for me. Okay, so now we have gone over the different windows. Let's try to build something. When you want to build something, you can right click on the blueprint you want to use and click on manufacturing. Then this window will come up and you have to pick an installation, which is the one of the slots we just discussed. Click on pick installation, click on manufacturing, and we can click on any one of these slots. Down here you can see the standing discount you have for having good standing or bad standing, minimal standing that is required to use the manufacturing line, and some other tidbits of information. Once you're done, you can hit use assembly line down here, and then we have selected it. You can select or change the blueprint over here, and then you have to decide the input and output. The input is where the factory will draw the minerals away from. So in this case it's my personal hangar, which is always my hangar, and if you're part of a corporation and you have the right permission, you can also set this to corporate hangars. The output is the same story. You can choose where to output it, which is again my own hangar, and we can decide on how many runs we want to do, which is 5. Click OK, and here you'll see if you're missing anything, this is where you can see what you're missing exactly. In this case I already have all the materials I need. I already have everything I need in large enough quantities. There's nothing missing, there's nothing being wasted because I have good blueprints and good skills. I have the right skills. So in material wise I'm already set. You can see down here some more information. Production start time is right now. If you were to queue it up with some other already filled up slot, you will see the time when it starts here. Production time is 14 hours, 15 minutes and 27 seconds. This is real time, so it will, take a long time before it's done. But then all the 5 runs will be completed. The total cost for installation, which is this one and this one combined. I think they should really turn this around because it makes no sense this way. Yeah, for some jobs this can be something you have to keep in mind, especially if you want to sell the object on the market. You have to include the build price into your sell price, but that's basic marketing. Some material multiplier, time multiplier, skill based. So because I have good skills, the time is lowered. If you add some items to your hangar, you can hit refresh and it will use the latest information available. Or else you can accept the quote and it will install the job, which is what we're going to do right now. We'll install the job, it will take out the blueprint, it will take out the necessary minerals it needs, and you can find the job by going to jobs, going to manufacturing, any active state in progress, and get jobs. And here we have the manufacturing job we just installed, Capital Armor blueprint, location where it's being built, who installed it, who owns it, install date, and the date and exact time at when it will be ready. Once this is ready, it will require one more action before you can actually use it, and that is by going to ready. The state is ready. If we get jobs, we can. This is another job I installed a few hours ago. Well, not a few hours ago. Actually, it's I installed this quite a bit ago. As an example, I wanted to show you how this is done. Once your job is ready, it will display the state ready, and you have to click on it, and you have to click on deliver. When you do this, the item will be transferred and added to your personal hangar. If I click on deliver, it shows up down here. The job is now gone. The other job is still in progress. As you can see here, it will be done in about 14 hours. And this is the object we built. And you can use this in this case as an ingredient in other ship building, or if you build a ship or ammunition or a weapon, you can use it just as you would any other object you get from the market. Building Tech 2 items or Tech 3 items or capital ships will require a lot more time. It will require more exotic materials, such as these armor plates. But the basic process of building always remains the same. You need to have the minerals, you need to have the blueprint, and you need to have the appropriate skills. If you have all that and you have a factory that can build the item you want to build, then you're good. I hope this helped you. I hope you now know how to build your own stuff. For ammunition and stuff, I highly recommend building it yourself, because it's just cheaper that way, you know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like the video, leave a comment. If you want to try EVE Online, you can find a link to a trial, a 21-day free trial in the description, video description. Please try it out. Let me know if you decide to use the trial. Hit me up in game, and I will be glad to help you. You know, find your way in this huge, complex game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next EVE Online tutorial.